Here are the top stories for today, June 7, 2022. Job well done. President Rodrigo Duterte touts his administration's accomplishments less than a month before he leaves office. These include combating another COVID-19 surge and reviving the economy amid the pandemic. Disaster agencies remain on alert amid the continued unrest of the Bulusan volcano, with close to 3,000 families affected by the ash fall from Sunday's phreatic eruption. Another score in the war on terror. The alleged spokesperson of ISIS in East Asia was killed in a special operation by state forces in Maguindanao. And the government assures measures to address the impact of rising cost of goods and services as the country's inflation quickens to 5.4% in May. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Containing COVID-19 infections and reopening the economy are among the key accomplishments of the Duterte administration. In a pre-recorded public address, President Rodrigo Duterte said the Philippines avoided another surge in COVID-19 cases through continuous vaccinations and adherence to minimum public health standards. The president thanked China for providing the country with the first batch of COVID-19 vaccines. He said that while other countries were hoarding doses of COVID-19 vaccines, China was generous enough to share its vaccines with the Philippines.
Patapos na tayo. We're about to end our story dito sa governance ko, sa panahon ko. Parang natapos din natin yung big problem about the COVID-19. While other countries were grappling still, they were the ones who had the vaccines first. To be the fastest growing economy in ASEAN and ranking natin maganda sa vaccination all throughout the world. And sa awa ng Diyos, we never suffered any surge na bumalik yung kasi nabakunahan na lang almost lahat.
COVID-19 cases in the country continuously decline as it dipped to 2,479 cases as of June 5 compared to over 100,000 in February. Acting Presidential Spokesperson and Communications Secretary Martin Andanar said the notable decrease in COVID-19 cases was achieved despite the super spreader events such as the national and local elections. Observation of the holy month of Ramadan, Lenten season, and the full opening of the economy. As of June 6, over 74 million individuals received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine, or equivalent to 82.46%, while more than 69 million, or 77.24%, are fully vaccinated. Those who already received their booster shots or additional doses are at 14.3 million. Overall, the total number of administered COVID-19 doses are at 151.3 million.
Sa mga chikiting na edad 5 hanggang 11 taong gulang, nasa 2.9 million na ang fully vaccinated, habang ang mga batang 12 hanggang 17 anyos nasa higit 9.4 million ang fully vaccinated as of June 6, 2022.
President Duterte urges the police and the military to carry on with a campaign against illegal drugs. The chief executive pointed out that because of illegal drugs, families become dysfunctional. Although he admitted that he is scared that the drug industry would proliferate when his term ends, he believes the police and military would maintain the momentum in the anti-narcotics campaign.
Well, I trust that the next administration will also do its very best to confront itong drug. Kasi pag hindi, magpatayin tayo uli. Ganon yan. But I said, I place my full trust and confidence on the two institutions that we have. Yun lang ang ating panglaban. It's the police and the military. These are the institutions that would, I think, will not allow the drug people to prevail. Yan lang maiwan ko sa inyo.
President Duterte is urging all Filipinos to support the government of his successor, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. In his Talk to the People program, the president said that since the people have already spoken and elected a new set of leaders, all politicking should be set aside. He stressed that all must be united in addressing the issues confronting the country.
As we approach June 30, this administration is both ready and eager to hand over the reins of government to our incoming leaders. I assure everyone that this process will be smooth and peaceful, as we want the next administration to succeed for the benefit of country.
The alleged spokesperson of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria for East Asia, or ISIS-EA, was killed during a special operation in Maguindanao. The Western Mindanao Command identified the fatality as Abdul Fattah Omar Alimudden, also known as Abu Huzaifa. West MINCOM Chief Lieutenant General Alfredo Rosario Jr. said Alimudden was neutralized by state forces during an operation yesterday afternoon in Barangay Poblacion, Datu, Saudi, Ampatuan. Aside from being the spokesperson of the ISIS-EA, Rosario says Abu Huzaifa was also in charge of the financial transactions of the Dawla Islamia Philippines to the ISIS Central. He also said Alimudden had been disguising himself as Ustadz Abdul Fattah Omar Abdul Magwid, a 32-year-old businessman residing in Talayan Town, Maguindanao. Headline inflation, or the rate of increase of prices of goods and services for the month of May, surged to 5.4%. It is 0.5% higher than the inflation rate registered in April 2022. National Statistician and Philippine Statistics Authority Undersecretary Dennis Mapa explained that the main contributor to the acceleration of inflation is the sharp increase in the prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages.
Ang dahilan ng mas mataas na antas ng inflation nitong Mayo 2022 ay ang mas mabilis na pagtaas ng presyo ng food and non-alcoholic beverages. Ito ay may 4.9% inflation at 70.1% share sa pagtaas ng pangkalatang inflation sa bansa.
Meanwhile, the Duterte administration is implementing various measures to mitigate the impact of rising prices of commodities.
Patuloy natin minamatyagan, Sam and MJ, ang presyo ng pangunahing bilihin, yung basic goods. Alam naman natin na ang pagtaas ng inflation ay dulot ng pagtaas ng presyo ng langis. Kaya naman nagbigay tayo ng fuel subsidy program para sa mga super at operator. Meron din tayong service contracting program para makatipid sa pamasahe ang mga commuter sa pamagitan ng libreng sakay. Naman sa sahod ng mga manggagawa, nagdesisyon ng Regional Tripartite Wage Board na itaas ang minimum wage na 33 pesos bawat araw.
Still ahead, the palace welcomes the country's improved ranking in a study on handling the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Land Transportation Office summons the driver of a vehicle who intentionally ran over a security guard in a viral video. We'll be back after a quick break. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Pakiramdam ay hindi maganda.
The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
If you are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective. I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. Malacanang welcomed the improvement of the Philippines ranking in the latest COVID-19 Recovery Index of Tokyo-based news magazine Nikkei Asia. Based on its June 3rd report, the country placed 33rd last May, a big jump from the 57th place in November last year and last or 121st place in September last year. Acting presidential spokesperson Martin Andanar said Nikkei Asia's report reaffirms the effective recalibration of strategies of the Philippines in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III meanwhile credited Filipinos' diligent compliance with the minimum public health standards. He also cited the capabilities of both the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine and the Philippine Genome Center in detecting new variants and subvariants of COVID-19 virus. The Nikkei Recovery Index report showed the Philippines moved to rank 33 due to a consistent decrease in daily COVID-19 cases. The report recognized the country's easing of restrictions for fully vaccinated tourists and the removal of the negative RT-PCR requirement for foreigners with booster shots. It also noted the government's aggressive national vaccination program. And in a separate statement, National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. said the Philippines' vaccination program is on the right track and the country's science-based and data-driven national action plan was effective. The task force also recognized the hard work and dedication of medical frontliners and volunteers. The COVID-19 vaccination program is being intensified in the provinces as local government units urge more residents to get initial and booster shots against the virus. More on this from Stephanie Sevillano.
Health authorities in Negros Oriental have to double their efforts in the vaccination rollout against COVID-19 to enable the province to downgrade to Alert Level 1. Assistant Provincial Health Officer Dr. Leland Estacion said she asked the city and municipal health officers and rural health units to increase their target so they can achieve a higher vaccination rate. The National Vaccination Operations Center last week increased the target for Negros Oriental from 990,000 to over 1.14 million. This means the accomplishment of the province has dropped from 70% to 57.3%. In Iloilo City, the local government unit is calling on its fully vaccinated population to get booster shots, as thousands of doses of COVID-19 vaccines have expired or are about to expire due to few takers. Mayor Jerry Treña said while the city has the most persons who got the booster shots, it is only about 38.7% of the target eligible population. Treña said the city government has made booster doses accessible to the public by bringing them to the district health centers in Molo, Mandurriao, Haro, and the city proper. On the other hand, the city government will no longer open its mega vaccination sites at malls and universities since there were also few takers of vaccines from those sites. In Pangasinan, the Bakuna bus of the Philippine Red Cross is now in the Gov't city to cater to the vaccination of 5 to 11-year-old children in schools following its launching on Monday. The air-conditioned bus could accommodate over 1,000 individuals daily for 10 days to boost the vaccination rate among children. PRC Pangasinan officer in charge Rex Vincent Escaño said after its launching that the Department of Education will set the schedules for the different schools in the city. Over 90,000 children in the city are still unvaccinated. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Stephanie Sevillano.
The Land Transportation Office has identified and summoned the owner of a sports utility vehicle who bumped and ran over a security guard, doubling as a traffic enforcer in Mandaluyong City on Sunday. In a show cause order, the LTO ordered the vehicle owner and the driver to appear at their office in East Avenue, Quezon City on Tuesday. It also told the driver to explain in writing why he should not be charged for reckless driving. In a now viral dashcam footage originally posted by Mike Angelo Ramos, a white Toyota RAV4 was signaled by the guard to stop at the corner of Julia Vargas Avenue and St. Francis Street. Instead, the driver bumped the guard and ran over the victim before fleeing the scene. The owner's driver's license has been placed under a 90-day preventive suspension. The Philippine National Police said the owner of the vehicle has since then sent surrender feelers. Earlier, Senator-elect J.V. Ejercito offered a 50,000 peso cash reward to anyone who can lead to the capture of the SUV driver who intentionally ran over the security guard. In a tweet on Monday, Senator-elect J.V. Ejercito announced that he will give the reward after watching the viral dashcam video. The Mandaluyong City Police identified the victim as Christian Floralde, who was assigned in Barangay Wakwak. The victim sustained a head injury and complained of difficulty of breathing due to suspected broken ribs. Floralde is recuperating at a Mandaluyong hospital. Central Luzon, the country's rice granary, remained the country's top producer of palay in the first quarter of this year. Based on data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, the region produced over 770,000 metric tons of palay, contributing 17% to the country's output. Nueva Ecija remained the top producer of palay with its registered production of 31.9% of the region's total production. This was followed by the provinces of Tarlac at 22.3%, Pampanga at 21.3%, and Bulacan at 13%. The Department of Agriculture said the region's high palay production was due to government interventions and favorable weather. Meanwhile, the Department of Agrarian Reform said bringing down the price of rice to around 20 pesos per kilo is achievable. DAR Secretary Bernie Cruz introduced the concept of consolidating small and individual farm lots into mega farms for rice production. Cruz said the mega farm is capable of producing a large volume of farm products to meet the demands of consumers. He said the aspiration of President-elect Bongbong Marcos to bring down rice prices can also be made possible by reducing the cost of production without sacrificing the income of farmers. He said the project will also be profitable for agrarian reform beneficiaries. The Office of Civil Defense in Bicol and the Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council are currently on blue alert or standby for the deployment of the necessary assets. Bulusan volcano's eruption has so far affected 2,683.4 hectares of agricultural land, resulting in production loss and damage amounting to 20.2 million pesos, according to OCD. Meanwhile, over 800 metric tons of crops and other damages were recorded in 3 municipalities of Sorsogon, namely Casiguran, Huban, and Irosin. The Department of Agriculture has also designated the Regional Dairy Production and Technology Center in Sorsogon as a primary livestock evacuation center. Almost 3,000 families were affected by ashfall and pungent odor from the phreatic eruption of Bulusan volcano in the municipalities of Huban and Irosin, while 75 families were transferred to the Tughan Evacuation Center in Huban Town. Entry into the 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone and entry without vigilance into the extended danger zone are not allowed. Flying any aircraft close to the volcano is also prohibited. All roads of Irosin and Huban are still passable amid ashfall. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, is on alert for incidents resulting from the volcano's activity. CAAP Area 5 Manager Cynthia Tumanot said all government airports in the Bicol region did not suffer any damage and operations in airports with commercial flights remain unhampered. Pilots are cautioned from passing near the volcano and should fly 10,000 feet above when passing the area. PHIVOLC's Director Renato Solidum Jr. earlier said distance from the vicinity of the volcano is necessary, saying this would be the people's defense in case the volcano erupts. More stories from the newsroom. The Tourism Promotions Board assures continued efforts to keep Mindanao a safe tourism haven. And nurturing the sea's gentle giants, Lapu-Lapu City moves to protect whale sharks spotted near its waters. Details ahead. Stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Mga kabida, COVID-19 may be here for a while as we continue to aim for population protection through vaccination. So to keep you and your family safe, look for the Safety Seal sticker whenever you go to malls, eat out in restaurants, or visit any private or public establishments. This Safety Seal certification signifies that an establishment is compliant with health and safety protocols set by the government to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Kaya, you're guaranteed of health and safety consciousness of the places you go to. Remember, bida ang may tatak. Check if there is a safety seal along the entrance area of the place you're visiting para ligtas ang pamilya, ligtas ang bayan.
Mga kabida, hindi pa rin nawawala ang banta ng COVID-19. Upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ninyo at ng inyong pamilya, hanapin ang Safety Seal sticker sa inyong pupuntahan. Mapamall man ito, kainan, pasyalan, o kahit anong business establishment. Ang Safety Seal ay tanda ng isang establishmento ay sumusunod sa minimum public health standards ng gobyerno para maiwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19. Ating tandaan, bida ang may disiplina. #Safety Seal para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
The Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, has received recognition from a government body harmonizing the monitoring of performances across all agencies. Task Force AO25 recognized the PCOO for its invaluable contribution to the development of a unified and integrated results-based performance management system. The task force aims to simplify all monitoring and reporting requirements and processes through the development of a common set performance scorecard and the design of a government executive information system. The AO25 IATF and Technical Working Group is chaired by the Department of Budget and Management and co-chaired by the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. The Tourism Promotions Board assured that measures are in place to ensure that destinations in Mindanao are safe for tourists. TBP Chief Operating Officer Maria Antoinette Velasco Allones said Mindanao is a key tourism destination that is considered safe. She cited the peace talks continually being done in the region, the protection of law enforcement, and local government units working with non-government and international organizations to make destinations more sustainable and inclusive. She noted that other destinations in Mindanao are still being vetted for compliance with health and safety protocols. The board made the statement after journalist Raisa Robles posted a tweet saying that opening up Mindanao to tourism would please the extremist Abu Sayyaf group with the prospect of many potential kidnap victims. Vice President-elect Sara Duterte Carpio lambasted Robles for demonizing Mindanao and insulting its people. Lapu-Lapu City Mayor Junard Chan has pledged to protect two whale sharks or butanding that appeared in the seawater of Barangay Punta Engaño in Lapu-Lapu City. Two whale sharks were discovered last Saturday by a group of persons while on a motorboat. Ricky Blesario, one of the witnesses, posted about their appearance on social media. Chan said the City Agriculture and Fishery Office will do a study to identify these areas that could be a safe haven for the whale sharks where they can freely swim without interference from the village folks. Although butanding are commonly found in Cebu's southern town of Oslob, where hundreds of local and foreign tourists visit for whale shark watching activities, it was only the second time that the people in Lapu-Lapu got to see the gentle giants. Several displaced women from Marawi City completed livelihood skills training initiated by the local government and a Korean agency. More on this from Claire Gighe.
Some 27 displaced women in Marawi City have now obtained new skills that they can use as they rebuild their lives and recover from the effects of the 2017 Marawi siege. These women completed their skills training on dressmaking NC2 under the Driving Marawi's rehabilitation through IDP support, community development, and peaceful transitional action project of the International Organization for Migration or IOM and the Korea International Cooperation Agency Philippines or COICA. The project addresses the major drivers of instability and displacement by providing livelihood assistance, establishing community-based psychosocial support mechanisms, and constructing key infrastructure.
Our project reflects the Korean government's firm resolve to help the people of Marawi and neighboring areas recover and improve their socio-economic situation.
The trainees also underwent and passed the NC2 assessment by the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Apart from the training, the trainees received startup kits from IOM and COICA to assist them as they begin new means of livelihood.
This is not the end, this is really the beginning. The handover of these livelihood starter kits is really the start of the next step in your journey.
All the 27 trainees are thankful to the two humanitarian organizations for equipping them with new skills and providing startup kits.
Kung man sakali ako'y pumanaw, iiwan ko sa pamilya ko. Gagawin ko ang lahat, paunlarin ko, palalakihin ko ang negosyo na yan na ibinigay nila sa akin.
For PNA Newsroom, Claire Gighe of the Philippine Information Agency, Lanao del Sur.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Job well done. President Rodrigo Duterte touts his administration's accomplishments less than a month before he leaves office. These include combating another COVID-19 surge and reviving the economy amid the pandemic. Disaster agencies remain on alert amid the continued unrest of the Bulusan volcano, with close to 3,000 families affected by the ashfall from Sunday's phreatic eruption. Another score in the war on terror, the alleged spokesperson of ISIS in East Asia was killed in a special operation by state forces in Maguindanao. And the government assures measures to address the impact of rising cost of goods and services as the country's inflation quickens to 5.4% in May. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19.
So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19.
Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, everyone.